Avatar mode back on his puck, one of his best heroes, at least so far when he's played. It seems like something he's been really comfy in. And we'll just have to see if they can find that spacing, because you pick the puck into potentially a DP mid lane. I mean, it's still a death prophet. Puck can kind of dance around it a little bit better, but Spirit Siphon's still annoying. Crypt Swarm can clear out the wave. So I don't expect Summit to be too pushed back by the puck. But Neon is building up in team fight mode. You've got Avalanche toss out of Coil, along with the Black Hole on top. Neon can take some of these clumped up fights really well, as long as that Rubik's kind of managed here.
Yeah. That's a tough part though, right? Like, you're playing Enigma into Rubik. We see this all the time, and I feel like it's been countless times recently where some team picks Enigma, the enemy team immediately snaps pick Rubik because it wasn't banned for some apparent reason, and then we'll go ahead and see an Enigma that does nothing the whole game. Like, apart from the laning stage where you get to deny the range creeps and be annoying in that sense. But then later on, it just turns into a bit of a gold sink because you can never black hole because, well, there's a Rubik in the game, Jonathan. It's very, very tough. See what they do to kind of, balance that out a little bit here for Neon. But from what we've seen over and over again with these Enigmas, you need BKB, you need Lincoln Sphere, you need a Blink Tagger to be able to set up. Like, where do you find the space for all that? When you've got a Tiny, you've got a Puck that wants to farm and push out waves. It can be pretty rough. I don't want to say this too early, John, but I really don't like this Enigma pick. In fact, I'll dare say I don't like any Enigma pick right now that allows Rubik to go through. Because the big spell kit that you're kind of relying on to carry you through the game, it's too risky. It's just way too risky.
It definitely is. And I think we've seen a couple of times before, as you mentioned, you don't even see the Black Hole coming out. It does feel like the Enigma becomes more about just the Midnight Pulse and the Malefice, which are really good spells. I think Fear's the one who says that Enigma's laning spells are probably one of the best, and you can kind of just ignore Black Hole. It just feels like a sink. That means we should expect Avatar mode to kind of pick up that pace in the puck, and Summit do pick up the DK now, likely are mid up against the puck, which is still very stable, but allows the DP to play a more dominant offlane, right? Like, no matter what safe lane matchup you have, DP's going to be able to just play with Spirit Siphon, play with a Swarm. Very solid position to have that DP play from. And DK versus Puck, we've seen this a million times. You just farm. It ends up being a farming lane. DK doesn't mind. Puck gets better rune control, but it doesn't really matter because you can't leave the mid. Once the level 6 is up, DK will just push you in. So it kind of keeps that Puck in check. And I agree with your points, Mike. I think overall, just because of that Enigma pick from Neon, it does feel like Summit has a much more rounded draft.
Yeah.
They can always threaten with Black Hole themselves. They don't even have to steal Black Hole. Dream Coil's a great spell. The Tiny spells are really good to play in combination. You have this good timing to play with once DK has Blink. Your push potential on Summit with DK and DP is pretty high. You hit level 6 on those two heroes, you clump up mid. Not much you can do to stop that from Neon.
I love the way Summit's drafted. Like, it really does just kind of... It doesn't necessarily outscale Neon, but it just doesn't allow them the timing they're looking for to try and make this draft work. And I can always appreciate that. Like, DK, Death Prophet, it's such an old combination. It feels like all the way from Dota All-Stars you used to see this being run. It still works though. Against a greedy draft like this, John, just like you just said, I'm going to reiterate it. It's hard to keep up with the tempo that Summit Gaming's going to put on Neon this game. I can only imagine what they last pick here to try and counteract that. What do they need? Like an offlane? Unless it's a pos 3 Enigma, which I think is even worse. Okay, they're going to go CK. It can fight... Ooh. Wait, what? Sven comes out.
I like that.
You like it?
Go on, John. I actually really like Sven because it gives you a couple of things here. High armor with Warcry. That armor is insane. So now the CK can't burst you down physically, even with some minus armor from Reality Rift. Cleave to deal with the Enigma. Cleave to deal with the Enchantress creep as well. Just kind of burst that down. Jumping the Sven is tough. You don't really have that high burst. Maybe Avalanche Toss in the first 5 levels is probably your bet, but that's a pos 5. Tiny, you're not going to be able to scale at the same pace in terms of EXP as the Sven is. So by the time you have a fully kitted out Avalanche Toss, Sven's probably going to have something like the BKB or Echo Saber, enough strength to tank through that and just turn around, Mask of Madness up, kill off anyone that ganks him. So I like the Sven. Just look how tanky Summit's draft is. DP, Sven, DK. With Warcry on top, with all the sustain each hero has, at least on the DK and Death Prophet, it doesn't feel like Neon can really pierce through down. Mind you, you have the Enchantress for Se, And Chuan again is on that tiny. So the Enchantress, if it does go off to the kind of start we saw Q do on Talon, where he just farmed up like a madman on the Ench and played with impetus, it can be really good against these high HP heroes. I don't know if you can really reach that point though. You're counting on your fort to just overwhelm, and I mean you're running Enchantress Enigmally, and that isn't really aggressive. That's more of a passive farm denial lane, and I feel like that's something Summit can handle quite nicely here.
I can't help but notice, Jonathan, you always find a way to slip in the Talon, the Talon branding. I mean, Talon's gotten so much out of you. You just say their name every chance you get. Like, did you see those boys at Talon Esports? What about them Talon? Them Talon boys. Just like Talon did for Summer Gaming. Remember that time Talon... John, relax. We're not. This is Division 2, right? Talon's Division 1. Talon's going to a major by the looks of it, John. All right, you can calm down a bit. I'm sure they're going to get the advertising they need over at the Talon organization. Speaking of advertising, though, I've said their name about 20 times in the last 30 seconds. So if you want someone to really market, MLP Dota's here for your Talon. Still, we're talking about Neon Esports. We're talking about Summit Gaming. This is, Division 2 Dota, Jonathan. A lot on the line here, at least for Summit, to try and not get relegated. We'll get into game number 1, John. I don't even need to ask you who has the better draft, because I think you and I both agree that Summit Gaming has a draft that can set a pace that, well, we don't think Neon's going to be able to keep up with this game. It's not guaranteed, but you're probably looking to go past that 30-minute mark if you actually want to win this game as Neon. Summit Gaming, it doesn't seem like they necessarily want to go that long.
Yeah, and I think for Neon, it's a couple things. It's back to that timing that you mentioned. Going late can favor them just a bit, although it can still be tough, but you have some good late game timing. I think the other thing is if Neon executes as a team and plays around the potential of their team fight, plays around the potential of their combinations with Dream Coil, Reality Rift, pullback could be one way to break Coil on an RNG basis. Of course, we have the toss on Dream Coil, Black Hole on Dream Coil. If you somehow catch the Rubik, these are still pretty big team fight spells, and Summit doesn't have that same AoE control. Like the biggest AoE control they have is what? Sven's Hammer and Lion Earthspike. Like Earthspike probably your more reliable bet. Even that can be like 50-50 depending on how Neon clump up. So I think if Neon somehow takes out CZY into Rubik and then just manages to find the angle for Black Hole, they can play around that pace, because Summit, they'll need a little bit of mid-game farm, right?
Yeah.
The Sven's not going to be comfy until it's something like the Mask of Madness Echo Saber or BKB's up. The DK is going to need something like Blink BKB as well. Your DP is pretty open, but you also tend to want a BKB. So it's that double, triple BKB timing for Summit, and that's time Neon can use against them if they find that opening, if they find a way to crush the backline first.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, Jonathan. Well, we are going to have to wait out this pause, John, and that gives me a little bit of time to explain, because I think some people in the chat earlier were asking where I was yesterday, or whether I was, well, they seemed surprised I wasn't fired, Jonathan. I wasn't fired at all. I had some internet issues, to say the least. I'd rather not go too deep into why I was having internet issues right now, but I was talking to you about it earlier, John, but you and I were going to have a podcast episode soon, and I think I'm going to explain to people, I'm going to tell them a very good story, I think. A very long, tedious, but entertaining story.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, I don't know if I'd say good, Mike. I don't think it's like a story that's, it's an entertaining story. It entertains me to the detriment of you, that I'm sure you're fully aware of. But it's a story, Mike. It's a page turner. Let's say that. It definitely is a page turner right there. New York Times best-selling biography right here, Mike LaPhoenix.
Yeah. We'll tell no spoilers. We'll tell the story later on when we do have a podcast episode. But yeah, so I was having internet issues, which is why, well, the lovely Aries was able to step in, John, and props to him. I believe he had to cast 3 best-of-3s yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because of me not being able to show up. So always like to give a shout-out to the cutest play-by-play at BTS, Mr. Aries HD. Very, very good of him to take over, Jonathan. How was it, by the way, casting with Aries instead of me? I'm sure you enjoyed yourself quite a lot.
It's fun. It was no Mike LaPhoenix, but I think Aries was just finally exposed to how insane I am in the back, right? So people never know how dumb I am when we're off broadcast. I just do the dumbest stuff, and Aries is like, "What the hell are you doing, John?" I'm like, this is just how I am. The wheel's got to keep spinning, Mike. The head's empty.
Yeah.
It needs to be filled up with something.
Ironic you say the wheels need to keep spinning right now, John, because I am experiencing frame drops at the moment, which is might be due to the fact that half my state is currently flooded right now because of crazy rains. But it does seem to be a little bit laggy at the moment, which I believe is going through to the stream. But I don't think it's on my end. I do believe it's a server issue. It's
Yeah. You know,
this day
we talk about this, right?
Yeah.
We talk about this when sea reigns, and you know the players constantly disconnect. Same thing with Australia. You know, if those lines get damaged, Mikey, these servers, they buck you around like a raging bull in a state fair or something. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna try and find a solution. I don't think there is one, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe it's just an issue with the lines to the server, but hold that thought, because we might have a first blood coming out early on, as Crush is in a lot of trouble right now, getting crushed up and does get taken down. Avatar mode, able to secure first blood already on the puck, and he's going to be very happy returning back to that laning phase with that bonus gold, John. That's basically a full bottle right there for the puck already.
Yeah, that's the start you want here for Neon. Of course, Avatar mode does have a very stable lane to play in, but just having that earlier bottle will allow him to maybe play a little bit more aggressive, spam out the wave a little bit more, prevent Mercury from just holding lane steady, maybe even invade the small camp if he does manage to keep the wave shoved out later on. So we'll see if Avatar mode manages to maximize that lead, although it's DK versus Puck, Mike. We've seen that a million times before. It tends to just be really static no matter what.
Yeah. Which is currently how the stream looks, John. Quite staticky at the moment. There's, what do I say, John? I mean, I'm going to try and sort this out. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. I apologize to the viewers right now watching. I'm sure it's going to be very annoying for you all. Yeah, I'm going to try and find a solution. I think it's the lines, to be perfectly honest, but I'll try and work it out while we're casting, John. Of course, bot lane, Say and Fortune Soul is going to be playing against Crush and CZY. I believe Fortune Soul coming in and kind of stepping in for one of the players of Neon, Jonathan, but how do you think this bottom lane goes?
I think it's pretty stable. You can be aggressive with a CK. There's a pretty good early spike for Fortune Soul. Level 3 for the CK feels good, but you also have to respect the sustain coming out from Crush. When he hits level 3 with Spirit Siphon, it's very easy for Crush to kind of stay alive, and you've always got CZY to take the bite off that CK. Fade Bolt on the CK with high base damage means he's not going to be hitting as hard when CZY has some levels up. You already see Se dropping a bit low from the trades. Does not have impetus, did go for the enchant along with Nature's Attendants. So you can at least help Fortune Soul stay alive. In the end, because the aggression might not line up, you probably are just looking for a farming lane here for Fortune Soul.
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to keep interrupting you. It's just the lag keeps getting worse as you were talking, so... Anyway, top lane, we'll have a look at that. Again, I am trying to fix all this crap as Chuan and Enryu are going to be up against Unknown and, of course, Trezam. Jonathan, talk to me about the top lane while I pull my hair out.
The top lane, again, a little bit more passive. Pause for Tiny for Chuan. Blink time is going to be key for him, but he can't really hold the lane. You could try to play with Malefice Chain Stun with Avalanche and Toss once the levels are up. Trezam's doing a great job of just chasing down Chuan. 0 base armor, very easy to chop down even Alliance right clicks. And it's just back to the Sven. Look at the build up on Unknown. He's going 1 point in Stormhammer, 2 points in Great Cleave, knowing that he can clear out the Eidolons and keep the wave shoved out up against the Enigma. This is a very free Sven. Like, I don't expect any major threats onto his life.
Yeah, bot lane, though. Plenty of threats going on here for Crush as he does drop a second time this game already. Fortune Soul able to pick up that one on the CK, and well, once again, it's a pretty decent start here for Neon. 2 kills already, one of them going to the mid lane for first blood, and now a secondary kill going to the way of Fortune Soul. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty rough start for the DP, John. Crush just not having a good lane whatsoever.
Yeah, he has to be really careful. He's not at level 3. Level 1 Spirit Siphon isn't nearly as good in terms of the HP regen you get, and kind of sustaining through a little bit of a dive in. You already are at level 3 for Fortune Soul, so he has a value point in the Chaos Strike, Reality Rift with minus armor. You can still do short work. I think the best way to work the lane now for Summit, just have CZY stick around and kind of work that lane.
Look at this, Jonathan. Avatar mode. I could be able to get away, just barely having the mana. In fact, he might even find a courier snipe, and in the meantime, down a bot lane, CZY gonna drop now. This aggression really paying off as now to mid lane. Avatar mode goes down trying to hunt down a courier. Trezam, he moved in with the Hex out and the Earth Spike, and well, they got the damage out in time to kill him off, so... Well, that was the first death for Neon in the mid lane, and that'll be your mid puck going down to Mercury.
Yeah, it's one way to kind of set things in motion. I mean, you lose your offlaner twice, but finding these kills on mid is big. Crush being dived on again, but he does have that level 2 Spirit Siphon, so it's a little bit harder to burn him down. Say is still chasing, but good blocks out from CZY to save that DP. So as long as you're getting momentum elsewhere, I don't think you really mind sacrificing that Death Prophet. As long as Crush gets the levels, he doesn't need too much farm. BKB timing's still key, but you are still doing a good job of slowing down Fortune Soul's farm in terms of CS. Like, he is still behind Unknown, and Unknown's going to be able to clear out stacks down the line with the Mask of Madness build up a lot better than the CK can.
Looking across the map here, still 3-1 Neon's way. Very, very slight net worth lead their way as well. It's nice that you have the Pos 3 Enigma at this stage of the game as well against that Pos 1 Sven, because Unknown's going to have a very rough time trying to get that farm going here against that Enigma, as Enryu should be able to get plenty of denies off. I mean, maybe you feed a couple of Eidolons away, but it does seem like, at least for now, Unknown is, I don't want to say behind. He's 26-8 right now in CS, but maybe not as good as he'd want to be at the moment against the Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, you're still working that lane really well for Onryu. He's not farming as much, but he does have his Urn up, going for the Spirit Vessel, so he's looking for more aggression, looking for more rotations in, using the Malefice to its full potential. You do hit that level 6 mark now on mid, so Mercury's in the Dragon form. Avatar Mode does have the Dream Coil ready as well with his own 6 up, so you could try for the toss back. Chuan shows up, but doesn't see the opportunity, so not going to be able to play around that aggression. Up top, though, it's still posturing out from Trazam, but has to be a bit cautious.
He does. Meanwhile, top lane, who have they got? Chuan, trying to make sure Enryu does remain alive, and Trazam unable to set up onto the Enigma properly, so Enryu going to be just fine to be able to back his way out, as we are seeing him losing quite a bit of Eidolons now, but Enryu just going to deny them off. It seems like you are at the stage, though, where the Sven not going to struggle so much anymore with dealing with the Enigma, and has plenty of cleave damage to just get right through them. In fact, he's got level 3 Great Cleave, so he's really trying to make sure that Enryu has to focus with the micro on the Enigma. And yeah, I mean, the Enigma, it's just not getting what it wants done anymore, which is problematic if you are Neon.
Yeah, I think the one saving grace for Neon is that they've managed to contest the triangle. They've got the Enchantress, they sneak around. No stacks being built up by Summit. The flash farm here for Unknown isn't going to be as wild. He does have a small stack in the large camp, farming under vision, but no one's there to contest. Not the best camp as well for him to kind of get that build up. And the Mask of Madness is still a ways off. So I think overall Neon's happy with how they've managed to lane. They're still seeing some good starts here for Fortune Soul on the CK down bot in comparison. He does have his power treads going into the armlet. And once at least that Helm of Iron wills up, he's going to feel a lot more durable up against Crush. And Crush is still not at his own level 6. Despite having a bit of a solo lane, those 2 deaths really set him back. And that's stalling out that timing for the great push. You want to hook up with your DK, with your DP, with the Exorcism and the Dragon form. Just commit to a tower. Can't get that done while Crush is still waiting for EXP.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll hold that thought, because bot lane, they are going to make the jump in onto the DP now. Crush, he's going to be okay. He'll siphon his way to health and just walk his way out. I was about to say, John, I might consider trying to reconnect again to this game to try and see if that sorts out anything, but during our past internet issues, or rather just server issues, it really hasn't solved crap. So it's hard to know if it's even worth. Do you reckon I give it a crack, John? Just reconnect to the game, see if that's going to sort out anything?
I'd say, there's nothing to miss here. It's just farming time. Everyone's just kind of farming, so it's a good time for it, Mikey.
All right, let's switch over to the main screen. They'll still be able to hear you, John, so if you want to give a radio cast while I get this sorted.
All right, ladies and gents. Still standing at the 3-1, 8.5 minutes in, with less than 1k lead for Neon top lane. Still keeping Onryu and Chuan around. Already with the boots here on Chuan, of course. He's had that for a while. Level 2 toss. They are rotating up Mercury to the top lane. Dragon form pop, Dragon tail as well. Avalanche to slow down, but Trazam does have the Earth Spike. Lands it. They don't commit for the kill. So early rotation out for Mercury, cut off by Chuan. Great movement out from our Tiny to prevent that thump up on any objectives. Avatar mode also trying to sneak his way up top now. So it does look like Neon is planning for that top tier 1 push. They've got the Eidolon set from Enryu. So it's not going to take too long if they are left uncontested. and doesn't look like the side of Summit has any interest in kind of cleaning up there. Mercury just whacking away at
Oh.
mid, forces Chuan to go back. And hello, Mikey.
Oh, it actually might have worked. Oh, look at that.
Beautiful.
We've been casting 5-6 years, and that I swear this has never worked. Let's just hope it keeps going, ladies and gentlemen. The good news, it has actually worked, Jonathan. I'm very, very excited now.
Yes, beautiful. I think it works for me every now and again, but that's just when we were covering China, because the routing to China can be a bit weird. So maybe the same things happen. Good to hear, Mikey. Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Look at this push. Crush, now at level 7, has the room to use the Exo. Doesn't hook up with the DK. And they are pushing top still from Neon, so it's going to be a 1-for-1, it looks like, from both ends here.
Yeah, certainly does, John. 1-for-1 on the bot and top tier 1 towers. Again, my apologies to the viewers for having to put up with that garbage that you were watching just 30 seconds ago. I was trying to sort it out, as they would have seen while we were casting, John, but, you know, sometimes it's the old, you know, unplug and plug it back in and turn it back on, you know? Sometimes Microsoft has it right.
Yes, sir. Sometimes customer support is somehow right. And again, we are right as well. 1-1 there, Mike. So we're looking good. 3-1. Game is still kind of in the same state though. Less than 1K lead for Neon. I think the one concern they have now on Neon's end is Summit is starting to work that jungle.
Sam, he's been slowed up. He's going to be fine. The siege shot, which I don't even know why they called it siege shot, John. They may as well have just called it Acon shot to make our lives a little bit easier, but yeah, the siege shot, it does offer some very nice slow once it does connect, and it wasn't quite enough to take down the line, but look at the amount of space it's creating here for Neon. The Summit, they are slowly grouping up, as it does seem like Neon perhaps having a few lag issues themselves. Maybe I've passed on the issues to them, Jonathan. It doesn't bother me, as long as I'm the one that has the perfect frames. It's like, say he's going to have some mic issues here, but there are a lot of rotations coming in. Obviously, you don't want to let this mid tower go down if you are Summit. You are in a position where you should be able to defend, and in fact, you are in a position where you should be the ones taking the enemy mid-tier 1 tower. So, definitely don't want to let this go down for free if you can avoid it. Avatar mode and say they do have a siege creep available, which is definitely going to speed up the process, but it doesn't seem like they should be able to stick around to finish this one off.
They should be punished. There's no Exorcism and Crush, so that could make the timing awkward. You don't have the Blink Up and Mercury yet, so jumping Avatar mode is a lot tougher. You might be able to get away with that kill in Se, but a good left out. Just gonna have to see how badly this pause affects them. They do see everyone under vision. I am checking Radiant Vision. They've got a view on Mercury, Crush, and CZY, so it shouldn't be too tough for them to make a decision on whether to back off or force this fight in the mid-tier 1.
See what happens. Sad thing is, you don't have the blink up yet on Mercury. Mind you, it is not even 11 minutes into the game. He does almost have the blink up, but before that point, you can't really jump Avatar mode too well. I mean, maybe they could hope for a silence to come out. No, in fact, Crush hasn't even skilled up the silence yet. Avatar mode probably would be able to juke it out anyway with the phase shift, so no real point in having that right now. I think as long as they protect the mid-tier 1 tower, they'll be happy. Because again, you are just kind of waiting for Exorcism and Dragon Form to be off cooldown to start pushing in the mid-tier 1 of Neon, and well, they have Dragon Form, but they just don't have Exorcism, so they can't guarantee they'll take down this mid-tier 1 tower. As long as they defend, though. In fact, CZY, with his positioning, might at least catch out Say here on the edge. So while Avatar mode should theoretically be able to get out, Say may not be so lucky.
Yeah, I think you'd have to settle with the Ench kill. Again, we'll see what the decision to call is from Neon, whether or not they want to force it too hard. What it'll be. I want to take this time, Mike, to point out, I haven't seen your beard in a while. I checked the stream. It looks magnificent. Very well trimmed. Very tidy. It's a beautiful beard, Mikey.
I appreciate that, John. Sadly, it hasn't been trimmed, and if you look at it carefully, John, it's actually very messy right now. But you know, I'd say I've planned to go get a haircut and a trim, but you know what's going on in my life, John. There's not exactly much time right now to go to the barber, but you know, I'll try to find some time soon, hopefully, and get that done. Thank you, John. That's probably the first compliment I've heard in a long time, so thank you for that.
You know how much the barber would cost, Mike?
The what?
You know how much the barber would cost for you?
How much is that, John?
$70, Mike.
Yeah, with the prices in Australia right now, John, I wouldn't be too bloody surprised. Let me tell you, inflation is kind of nuts over here. We are while we're paused, John. You want to know how crazy shortages and inflation were? We a few weeks ago it was, and any Aussie will be able to back me up here. You go to the shops. Not only could you not find a head of lettuce, like iceberg lettuce, but if you did find said lettuce, it was $15 per lettuce.
What?
$15.
What?
Yeah.
That is insane. $15 for just a head of lettuce.
A head of lettuce. That is correct.
What? What?
I mean, there's shortages, mind you, but
yeah. Lettuce.
yeah.
I mean, I've heard of like French fry shortages in say Japan. I know you can only order regular sized fries. That happened in the Philippines for a bit as well. But lettuce, that's what's going on? Is there like a salad epidemic there in Australia or something? Everyone just wants to eat green.
Well, we just had. I think it's about to get worse, quite frankly, John, because we just had. Apparently, the comparison is apparently we had more rain in 4 days. We had more rain than London has in a year, and this is the middle of winter in Australia, where it shouldn't be. This is the dry season. We had more rain than London has in a year in 4 days. So I dare say, John, chances are the farms in Oz aren't going to be doing any better either. Like, a few years ago, we were having bushfires and drought problems. Now we're having too much water problems.
Well, you know who's going to be happy with that news? More rain than London in 4 days. Nina's going to be very pleased to hear that, Mike. You've made a very British person happy today.
Well, not really, John. He's the admin of the game, and I'll tell you what, he's probably not going to be happy if any more server issues happen. Which, you know, again, considering all the wild weather, I'm not going to be too shocked. But we do have a go-ahead, so we can finally stop having to listen to my complaints and move into the game, John. See if they can defend. Stolen, lift up, say, oh, speaking of the lag, it's back as well. Thanks for the pause, guys. Say he's going to go down. Can we just have a rule? Nobody's allowed to pause today. Nobody's allowed to pause. How does that happen? We pause for a minute and suddenly the lag's just gotten worse?
Those packets, Mike, you know, those little ping packets, maybe they built up, you know, God no, man, it's an awkward thing. They still lose their mid-tier 1 here, so Neon still finds the objective they want.
Sorry, John. Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt again. I'm just letting you know I'm gonna do the same thing because I don't think anyone wants to watch this crap. So I'm gonna just do the same thing, just in case it works again. So you go on, John. Give us your radio cast while I do the same bloody thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the 12-minute mark here in Neon versus Summit. Game number 1, scoreboard at 3-2, less than 1K lead standing right now for Neon. They have managed to clear out the mid-tier 1 and top-tier 1. Mid-tier 1 without contest pretty much, and the smoke coming out now from Neon. From the mid into the jungle, through the river to catch out Trazam, use that Dream Coil, get the Avalanche out, get that kill on the level 4 line. Smoke is popped. Might not be able to get that rotation up onto the cores as they were targeting Crush in the top lane, but he is still playing around the area. There is a ward giving him some protection. Does spot out Chuan. Still walking onto the high ground. Crush looking for a kill opportunity. Does get the Spirit Siphon off the one time. Still being chased down. Say, and Avatar mode still in the area. Exorcism is popped. They want to make the jump. Blink reveal for the Mercury. Onto Avatar mode. They got the kill.
Thank you, John.
Hello, Mike.
Lag is fixed somehow. Thank you for that, Jonathan. Say gonna go for a run now as Crush is gonna chase him down, and with the Spirit Siphons going and the Stormhammer to land, eventually the Ench is, of course, gonna drop as Say just cannot survive the onslaught. Good news is, John, the reconnections seem to be working. Bad news is we're in SCA, and if we have one more pause, I'm gonna have to do that again.
The chances of that, Mike, are moderately high still. Neon, they lose a couple. They force that move after the smoke. Their smoke popped on Fazam. They killed the lion, but they still try to run up. Great vision game this time from Summit to protect their jungle. And Crush sees that opportunity to play with that fresh blink coming out for Mercury. So the timings are lining up here for Summit now. Blink on Mercury means they can always catch Avatar mode out. They've gotten a lot of space out for Unknown. Doesn't have a massive lead over a CK, but Mask of Madness up, Echo Saber up. He can flash farm in the jungle, just sit parked in that jungle and build up the lead he wants for the team going into the blink next. So Summit is looking for aggression. They want to be able to jump onto these heroes fast and lock in, especially that Puck who is highly mobile. The side of Neon, you're still pretty happy with the progression here in Fortune Soul, going for his own Echo Saber does look like here. Your CK is still feeling good. The question is CK versus Sven, who really does win out? Because those illusions will just melt to Sven once he has some damage up with a cleave.
Oh, a bit unlucky there for the puck, John. Shazam's going to find an Arcane Rune from himself here on the Lion. Really wanted that Power Rune to spawn up top and doesn't get it. You love that Arcane Rune as the puck because it just lowers the cooldowns even further. Basically guarantees you almost 2 Dream Calls a team fight if you're really lucky. And the Avatar mode, he's not going to be that lucky. Though bot lane, Chuan saw Shazam and is going to go for a bit of a chase, and so will the puck. Avatar, he's going to coil off. Very, very nice. Just in range on the Lion, but Chuan's going to cut his way in to try and get this kill. And eventually they will. Nice toss up, Chuan. He'll take the kill on the Tiny. It is just a Lion at the end of the day, but it's better than nothing. And of course, they were forced to TP to rotate down bot here for Avatar mode, so you kind of have to go for that kill.
Yeah, just take what you can get. It's a little nice pickup for Neon to kind of ramp up on the timings here for Avatar mode. We did see Mercury trying to be sneaky in the tree line, does get seen by the creep, so isn't able to go for that solo pickoff play. And in that downtime, Neon is just shoving up top. Crush isn't quite safe, BKB still being farmed up. Henry just playing around with Malphus. And the Midnight Pulse is getting some great work done on the top lane to keep it shoved in.
Uh-oh.
So Summit needs to find a way to equalize. Ooh.
Oh boy, Crush, he got blocked off by his own creeps, so he's going to keep trying to fight with the Spirit Siphon. He's actually kind of surviving, but not quite. Enryu, able to take him down eventually. I suppose they always had the Black Hole if they really needed to commit it, but I believe Enryu just wanted some Spirit Vessel charges on the Enigma. And now he does have them, which does mean you should be much more able to kill off the Dragon Knight, as now CZY getting caught out. Nice cliff there onto Fortune Soul, but he's just going to TP away. Another kill there for the Enigma now. Enryu not even forced to pop that Black Hole to try and get any of these kills, and really just a bit of a mess here from the Summit, quite frankly, John, with their positioning.
Yeah, they're just kind of funneling in one by one. We're seeing Crush TP up top again to clear out the lane. Should be able to at least prevent that tier 2 push. I think right now for Summit, they're really just looking for item timings. They want to have that blink up unknown. He does have the money now, so he should be able to join these team fights if he does see the opportunity to do so. Next thing they have to wait for is Crush's BKB. Once you have that DP BKB along with a Sven blink, tying in with your DK blink, you feel pretty confident in taking these fights for that interim period though. This is when Neon can start to just try to take the objectives, play around with her CK with the full Armlet and Echo Saber running, and just prevent that farm. Remember, Summit still has some great spikes to hit with her Sven, but they need a little bit of time for that. Neon, no, not going to give that time. Mike Smoke up. Chuan has his blink. More initiation here for Neon to play the burst game.
Well, they've got a blink on Enryu as well here, John, so you've got the blink Black Hole available on the Enigma. That's some decent farm here from Enryu. He went for the Spirit Vessel first, but still managed to find a really nice timing for the blink. Keep in mind, if the Rubik's around, naturally you probably aren't going to want to pop that Black Hole unless you do catch him. Unknown, however, he's alone down bot by himself. They saw the courier. Enryu, he's going to try with the Midnight Pulse. Avatar mode, does he see him? The Dream Coil, it's going to land in time, but here comes that Rubik. Can they actually burst down the Sven? It doesn't seem like it. Unknown. He's going to be just fine as Shazam. He'll rotate over on the Lion. Chuan, he'll blink his way out on the Tiny. His Avatar mode is still scouting out. They've got their whole team around. Enryu, he's still sticking around for a Black Hole attempt, and now the smoke, it's going to break immediately, but they don't go in. They see the Rubik. They'll go for an Avalanche toss out, and they actually found CZY. A nice start as they can go right after the Lion now. Shazam going to drop to boot. And in the end, another very messy engagement by both sides, but at least Neon, they do come out on top.
Yeah, he managed to find the 2 supports. Summit not going to be too happy. They waste the smoke. They don't really find anything for their trouble. They are buying some space out. Unknown at least gets back into the jungle. Shifts away from the blink on the Sven. Goes for a BKB instead. So they are fully reliant on Mercury in the middle of these fights to get the jump in. And I guess now you just wait for that triple BKB timing. Mercury working onto his own BKB. Crush just having the goal to buy his BKB out now. And it's just a game of patience. Neon can't allow that patience to go through though. Again, keep that aggression up, keep looking for the jumps, play with the initiation on your Tiny. Another smoke out from Neon, 4-man, looking for those kills in the chorus. Mercury was just showing up top, could be a nice target if he stays a bit too long to farm.
If they can find him. And Mercury's still sticking around, but maybe just wants to toss a fireball out in TP. Problem is that fireball may cost him if Neon, they do loop around, but a counter smoke is now out. So Mercury seems to know that something is awry. Strazam is going to break the smoke, but immediately does get caught out by Chuan and gets bursted down. Nice initiation by Neon. Now a Dream Coil committed onto the DP, but it doesn't seem like it's going to amount to much yet, as Mercury, he does get caught on the backside with the Spirit Vessel out and the control. He's been locked down for quite a while, as now Chuan is going to make the jump in onto the Dragon Knight, but he's still fine. Mercury's still trying to run, but now Enryu not playing around, but he's given the Black Hole away. They'll find Mercury, but they've got to be very careful here, Neon. They'll chase for the Lion. They'll find another. A triple kill out for Fortune Soul, who stands in for Neon through this game number 1. And Summit, I mean, they'll walk away with the Black Hole available, but it doesn't seem to make any much of a difference here in this fight.
Yeah, it's just super awkward. Die back on the line, TPing into the outpost, trying to work that fight. Without the BKB on your DK, if Neon get the jump on you, that Spirit Vessel just wrecks you. There's no Dispel on hand here. The supports can't really help in that sense. So, again, Summit has to play a little bit more patient. You are allowing Neon to kind of run around. They've managed to really overtake now in that for a 3k lead coming out for Neon. They've just managed to give Fortune Soul everything he could ask for on the CK. And Summit, they just need those BKBs here, Mike. You already have one on Unknown. You're just waiting for, Mercury's BKB to be up and running. Once you have that, you need to be able to play with those triple BKBs. We have to see a good smoke rotation. Neon's just been able to catch him off guard every single time. They've got to get a better read on the map, maybe get some forward wards here.
Here we go. Wards down, CZY, they're going to find Say. It's not the kill you want. I mean, you get the Ench, but this is what Say wants to do. He just wants to tank the gank every single time, and they knew the puck was around here somewhere. They saw the orb fly through. Enryu now, he's just going to blink out as well on the Enigma, so you find a Pos 5 Ench for all that, but that's about all you're going to get here for Summit. And Neon, they should be very happy with that.
Yeah, they really don't lose much. They do lose their wards now. Some D wards coming through from Summit, so they get to re-secure control in that top jungle. But they are still waiting here on Summit's end. I think it would be a bit keen to force a bigger fight without that BKB on Mercury. He does have the gold for it now, so that's your triple BKB timing. Let's see if they try to commit a smoke around this next time. On the side of Neon have already left top. It's only only Enryu really playing around, playing tag up there. But triple BKB, this is Summit's moment to shine. This is when they can't afford to miss out on any opportunities, and they will go for a 4-man here.
They will. Say again, though, look at the positioning. Say, he could break this smoke once again if he positions correctly. Instead, though, it seems like maybe they know Enryu's up top. No Black Hole available for the Enigma. You still got the Black Hole in the Rubik right now if you want to commit it. Summit, they certainly do. They're going to just loop through the backside, but Say's going to find them. Again, just perfect positioning from the Ench. It's not what they wanted. They're going to back off. Top tier 1 tower, maybe they can stick around, but they are going to group up on Neon now, and they can try to force a fight. Summit, they're getting ruined by this Pos 5 Ench, John. They are getting absolutely ruined by Say.
Yeah, they're just not finding the angle. It's Neon going to be very satisfied having all these resources expended from Summit's end. They've been allowed to really build up on all of their heroes. BKB up and running on Fortune Soul, which kind of ruins what Summit wants to do in the middle. And it doesn't feel like you have enough Fizzle Burst yet on Unknown to deal with that. He has gone fairly defensive with a BKB into the Blink. Long ways off until we see something like that Daedalus that Sven tends to love to build. So you still have some great timings here for Neon's end, and they could clump up for their own smoke play, and they will. See if they find a better opportunity beyond the supports, as they've also been mainly finding supports in these smokes. But Summit's positioning is a little bit more awkward here. It's something that they can exploit quite nicely.
Yeah, Dragon Form's going to wear off soon as well. A bit rough here for Mercury if they do get into a big team fight. With the draft of Summit, keep in mind, John, I mean, they've kind of missed their timing completely now. Like, sure, you could still kind of bring it back because you do have a Pos 1 Sven who, you never know, might just carry the game. The Sven doesn't seem like a very popular carry right now, but it's kind of in Unknown's hands at this point as to whether they can win this game or not for Summit. And on the side of Neon, they just look like a well-oiled machine somewhat today. I mean, maybe shouldn't go that far, but, it's a lot cleaner than it has been, that's for sure. Summit, they're going to try and trade the bottom tier 2 tower. Neon might just go for the top tier 2 and just go for a direct trade here. And that they will. The thing is, this favors Neon because they haven't got the pushing line. This is not what they're meant to be doing, but they're still getting away with it. And everyone knows, John, the Dire Tier 2, it's more valuable than the safe lane Tier 2 of Neon because, well, at the end of the day, you get the Dire outpost and you go Roshan. Suddenly you control that area of the map in the Dire jungle, and it makes the team fight a billion times harder for Summit.
Yeah, I don't get the hesitation out from Summit. They didn't force in that bot Tier 2 for an exchange. The exchange kind of evens it out a bit more. They will go for the smoke play instead, but no one's really in Roshan. Looks like Neon's trying to bait them in.
Say is going to ruin him again, John, I think. Mercury. Oh, he blinks right in.
Oh,
Yeah. Maybe they find the Enigma. There's one at least, unknown. He can take that Enryu, and he does. Crush. A nice silence, but Fortune Soul has the BKB available, so he'll go for a run and just TP right out of it. No messing around. He's just out. Sadly, the Rubik did die earlier, so you don't have a black hole to throw out, and with that now, they are going to try for Roshan at the least, so Summit, they might still get away with this, but towards the north, you'd hear a stun coming out, but it seems to be on an illusion. Instead, Summit, they'll just keep going for the Roshan, but you can always scout out with these orbs from the puck. Roshan's still relatively healthy here as Summit. They're going to run out of God Strength. Unknown, he can't force the fight any longer. Still on the backside,
no.
Fortune Soul! He gets caught underneath vision. There's double sentries in the cliff. How did that happen? Here we go. Oh, they've got to try here. Neon, they're going to try and make this work. Twan's in. He's jumped in a bit too early. In comes the cavalry, but a double stun out. Oh no, Neon, not like this. Enryu, he's going to get a great black hole off anyway. He may have saved the day on the Enigma, though it's owned by CZY. It is completely stolen, completely turned around. Neon, what have they done? And where was the backup for the black hole?
It just wasn't there. It's super awkward. And when Chuan jumped in, he was silenced from the DP. Still jumped in, had no avalanche to break that, immediately gets stunned. Avatar mode has to back him up. Just gets caught out in a very tough spot. And Summit turns this game on its head. Mike, you were saying that Summit had no shot. It didn't feel that way. The lead from Neon just wasn't high enough. It's a good 3K lead, sure, but we were hitting those item timings, right? The BKBs were still coming out, the blinks are up, triple BKB timing on these cores on Summit's still big, and now it's back to that factor we talked about. What the hell did Shazam deny off? But it comes back to the factor of you have such high HP, high sustain cores on the side of Summit. Every time Warcry pops, it's going to be hard to burst them down. It does feel like you rely a lot on the puck and on the Enigma. That black hole has to be big. I know you get a good angle, but it's just a bit too late in that team fight, and Neon just ends up staggering into that fight almost one by one, giving Summit the opportunities to play the pickoff game. And suddenly they find themselves ahead. Mercury's working onto the Ags here on the DK off the back of that fight. Only 1k gold away. Black Dragon form's going to be huge. Silver Edge for Unknown's coming out as well. Crystal is already up, so a little bit more physical burst. And I want to point one thing out here. If Unknown, if they manage to, maybe take the next Roshan, I think you give the shard to Unknown. And that Warcry passive armor, 7 bonus armor, plus the Warcry active, that's just free 22 armor. Like, how do you actually right-click with a CK up against even the supports with that aura?
That is actually huge, John. I didn't even read the shards of Sven, because, Sven, funny hero right now in the meta, but yeah, that is actually huge. Like, just 7 passive armor, and you can't dispel Warcry after that. So, what is it? 7 plus 25? So you're telling me that everyone's going to get 32 armor, and they can't dispel it on Neon if he gets the shards up?
Yeah, and you think about the value proposition, right? For Assault, curious, how much do you have to pay for that aura and self armor?
Yeah, it's
4,000, 5,000 odd gold. This is 1,400 undispellable, 7 armor for everyone with the active. It's kind of maddening. I don't think a lot of people pick it up in Sven. One, because as you said, Sven, not so popular. You see it in EU every now and again. But it's just so much value. Maybe again on the second Roche, would be really nice to give that to that Sven and see how strong that is.
I'd love to see it. I mean, people would probably look at this and go, it's just passive 7 armor. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But against the CK, against the puck, that is a lot of damage being mitigated here from Unknown. And like you mentioned, John, why buy an AC when you could just buy shards instead on Sven? Speaking of, why buy anything else apart from an Aghanim Scepter on Mercury, who has it on the way right now? And like you mentioned as well, the Black Dragon form, it's a very scary thing to have to go into. And so suddenly Neon, after losing that one Roshan team fight, A 5k behind after such a great start. And you know what? I mean, we'll have a look at Dota Plus, but just look at the graph here, John. What a dip.
Yeah, that's quite the dip. It's a time to buy some stocks here, Mike.
Don't say that, John.
It's the dip.
Don't say that, John. We're all scarred from the crypto market and stock market right now, all right?
I'm not. I'm just having fun here. You know, I've lost some money in Bitcoin, and it's like when I went into it, I was like, you know, it's nothing. It's like this is play money. I've already signed it off, and I'm just having fun with everyone else raging. That's the kind of guy I am, Mike. Smoke out from Summit. They're looking for a little bit of rage from Neon here as well.
Yeah, but they're gonna run into Say again here, John. Say, no worries. I'll die for the team. In fact, oh, he does not get out of this. Lift him up. Take him down. If he's gonna break your smoke, you are taking him with you. Say, he's gonna buy a bit of time here. Gets enchanted up. Eventually, he's just gonna die. You know, Summit are in the lead, though. I was gonna say it's not a good gank, but now they rotate over. In fact, Avatar mode. He does get the silence off in time. Avalanche is there. They'll take down Trezan, but Mercury, he jumps in the Dragon Tail, and Enryu is already going to die on the Enigma. In fact, now they lift out. CZY is going to hold Avatar mode down. They'll find another triple kill for Unknown. And this, this graph's only going to get worse and worse as time goes on now for Neon Esports. Well, I don't see them slowing down here, Summit.
It's that point again. This time around, it feels like Neon has to rely on their team fight. They need a good black hole angle coming out from Enryu. It's not an easy Enigma game. They'll try.
Decent initiation, but Crashy really takes no damage as now Chuan's in big trouble. Look at the damage output, Jonathan. Already gone. Say, he'll run back to the fountain, but they want Fortune Soul. They want the bigger target, and they've got him. Say, he's still dying in the fountain, the poor guy. Mercury's just staring at him with the dragon. In we go. Bot Rack suddenly getting taken down here by Summit as a stun is going to fly out onto Say. Enryu.
Enryu?
Oh, boy.
Huh?
I don't think Enryu knows what to do here, John. That's the thing. He's got a CK down without buyback. He's got a Puck down without buyback who just respawns, and the Tiny's down without buyback. Problem is now he has no BKB to commit the black hole.
Yeah, he's going to be cancelled off by the line if he's not careful, heck, by anyone. And of course, there's always the steal factor from CZY, which doesn't care for that anyway. And they do manage to hold off. So mid is not being taken by Summit, so a little bit of time here. I don't know how much time. There is a DD up top here, Mikey.
Yeah.
With a Sven, that's going to feel extra delicious if Unknown does find it for himself.
That it will, Jonathan. You know what's extra delicious as well, John? Right now, CZY has got the dream build on this Rubik. He bought the Aether Lens Blink and he got the Psychic Headband. Like, you can't ask for much more as a Rubik player. He casts from a mile away now. Like, you cannot catch this man. Unless CZY runs right up to your face, there is no chance in hell he's getting caught.
No, it's ridiculous. The only way this gets better is Tier 5 neutral Seer Stone for the Rubik. I haven't actually seen that, but I can imagine that is just the entire screen for every spell.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious to watch, actually.
You never get it, Mike. Every time you're like, oh, we're approaching the 60-minute mark. Never happens, Mikey. Thanks for the curse.
I mean, I tell you, I'm not only cursed in the game, Sean. My life's been rather cursed recently. Everything's just cursed. Here we go, Neon. 5-man smoke up. This would be a bit rough, though. They've got to go back into their own triangle to try and make this team fight work. And well, at least they have the BKB Black Hole this time. Like you mentioned, though, CZY doesn't really care about BKB. And hasn't really shown any issues stealing Black Hole. And, well, John, if they do make it to the triangle, they're fighting under the vision of the die around this cliff. It's pretty rough here for Neon. Say's going to show up, but that's not the target they want. Instead, Enryu in the backside has already gone for the Black Hole out. Where's the still CZY? Can't get it yet as Mercury in trouble. Is going to try to run. It does get taken down. A nice start. Enryu is going to have his Lincolns broken, and now the Black Hole. It's taken again. CZY going to be very patient, but does get it. As Unknown's on an ultra kill looking for a rampage. They can't hand it over, but they won't mind. They just want the win. GG's been called. Neon.
Jeez, what?
I mean, look, it was a good start, John, but they fell apart in the mid-game, and it only took one team fight for Summit to get it together. They got the Roshan, they took over this game number 1, and, well, if you're Neon, you're going to be feeling a little bit silly about this, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing was that Neon didn't manage to push their advantage fast enough. Sure, they were finding those kills. A lot of the times it was Trezam, it was CZY. Every now and again it was Crush. But look at the unknown. Zerdats this game just had a perfect time farming up. He knew what he had to do. Mercury only died the 2 times as well. They still managed to farm up on these big cores. They still managed to hit that timing where triple BKB is up. All they had to do was look for pickoffs. And Neon maybe getting a little too complacent. We're scattered around a bit, especially on Roche. Stagger in, get punished, and from there, the advantage of Summit is clear. Triple BKB is very hard to stop. So tanky on all these cores. You just didn't have the burst on Neon. You went with the Enigma. It feels like you relied so much on, say, Dream Coil Black Hole here, but you had a big foil in that Rubik that it's just tough to find that angle towards the late game.
It certainly is, John. Again, a very rough start here for Neon Esports. Not going to be feeling too good about that one. I mean, you and I, we did say that the draft looked a lot better on Summit Gaming, but John, we were assuming that based off a power spike that was meant to be hit around 15-20 minutes. We weren't expecting going into the later stage of the game. And, well, Neon, I can't say they should have had the stronger team fight later on, but it's rough. It's rough dropping a game like that. Of course, we are going to head off to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with our second game of this best of 3 series between Neon Esports and Summit Gaming. We'll see you then.